the stupid, evil, and deadly traditional politics in the Philippines. Many hearts bleed for the lives that are wasted and lost on a daily basis in the country. Some lives are lost by operation of the law, as in the continuous drug excursions conducted by police authorities with a blessing in support of Malacanang against suspected and known substance users and supplier criminals. And the countdown continues as if it is a natural occurrence already, as seen on that angle. But other than that, the upcoming elections and the atmosphere of intense political rivalry is also a contributor to the countdown of wasted warm bodies. Months before the actual election, which should happen in May 2019, or 4 months from now, we are getting a preview of things to come. The opening salvo, at least in Bicol region in general, in Albay province in particular, we have learned of the dastardly, despicable, and horrible murder of Bikol Ako Party-list representative Atty. Rodel Batocabe. The popular Batocabe was gunned down by an assailant or assailants at around 3 p.m. at the covered court of Barangay Burgos of Daraga town on December 22nd of the past year. That was after attending a gift-giving party to senior citizens and persons with disability, PWD. Had he not attended the party on the same day, he would have celebrated his wedding anniversary with his wife and joined by his 2 sons, but instead forgo the celebration and went ahead with a scheduled Christmas party gift-giving. Batocabe was serving his last term in Congress, so he turned his sight on the mayoralty race in the premier town of Daraga, so that the party gift-giving can be construed as already an immersion with his would-be municipal constituents and voters. It is short of being considered campaigning. But hey, many politicians that have filed their certificates of candidacy are already campaigning in their own subtle ways. Just look at the former special assistant to the president, Sup. Christopher Go. He has long resigned from the Malacanang post and already filed candidacy for senator, and yet wherever the president has an engagement in the provinces, ex-Sup. Go is also around. He has learned the trade early and fast. Already, he is a free rider and gaining mileage with every mention by his former boss in every gathering, free of charge. What could he have done better? This is very typical of politicians, traditional politicians or trapos, and even the neophyte ones. Plenty of them do not desire to leave their political posts anymore, in the guise of serving the constituents. Good example of that is President Duterte, who has been mayor of Davao City, but while leaving the seat in Davao, he got replaced by his daughter as mayor and son as vice mayor. As if there is a dearth of people not eager enough to enter politics. So in majority of towns, cities, provinces, districts, and the Senate, many are holdover politicians who have started young and now have their white hairs on various elective posts and still would not leave politics behind until after they become incapacitated, dead by reason of illness, or murdered. Too many have made a political dynasty seriously that even their wife, husband, son, daughter, brother, mother, father, including in-laws, anybody in the family are made to run in the election and win seats. Only here in the Philippines, it is prevalent that husband and wife and sister are senator, mayor, and congresswoman as the Cayetanos, or mother and daughter and grandson are congresswoman, governor, and board member like the Marcoses. Husband, wife, and son are senator, mayor, and vice governor as the Revillas. Father, son, and grandson are representatives and governor as the Villafuertes. Daughter and father as mayor and congressman as the Lagmans, or the Puentebellas that dominate politics in the Partido area of Camarines Sur for over 100 years already. Name the combination and you can find not only one but a plenty in the country of 105 or so million people already. The stinging pinch in here is that voters continue to tolerate the prevailing situation at their own detriment. In Albay, traditional politicians play the musical chairs, which is a common and accepted norm in the country. At sometimes the governor and representatives just change residence from one district to another, or run from congressman to governor. It would seem they are the firmament that only death can take them away. So death it is that political rivals resort to vacate a post or forcibly remove a strong contender for the post. So for Mr. Batocabe, coming home from the gift-giving party was his last. He expired before the treatment at the hospital. More ironic here was that the police officer Orlando Diaz, detailed as bodyguard, also succumbed to gunshot wounds. At the wake of the murdered party list representative, political leaders came and checked on the situation and condoled with the bereaved wife and sons, to name some. Former President and now Speaker of the House of Representatives Gloria Macapagal Arroyo came. Quezon City Congressman Feliciano Belmonte came. President Rodrigo Duterte consoled the widow by encouraging her to run for the mayoralty seat.
Please, please, please. The widow was still grieving and she has to bury first the husband. She was crying for justice, not for the mayoralty seat. She was crying for justice, not for the mayoralty seat.
Duterte confirmed he had asked the widow Rodel Batocabe to run in her husband's place when he visited the lawmaker's wake. Duterte assured the security of the family. At the same time, he assured the family of the slain police officer of government support, like a house of their own if renting, and assured the schooling of the 4 kids left behind. Batocabe, the first congressman to be murdered during the Duterte administration, was shot in broad daylight by 2 unidentified gunmen in a waiting shed right after attending a gift-giving program for senior citizens. His bodyguard, SPO1 Orlando Diaz, was also killed. But here's one glaring fact observed. Albay Governor Alp Francis Bichara and Ako Bicol Representative Alfredo Garbin Jr. announced on Sunday of December 23rd during a press conference together with other elected officials from the Bicol region of putting up 15 million bounty for the capture of the perpetrators. The chorus was echoed by the House of Representatives through donations from its members in raising the bounty higher. It came up to 30 million pesos. The approval of congressmen was personified by Negros Occidental 3rd District Representative Alfredo Benitez, leader of the Visayan Bloc, who initiated raising the reward money from the House with over 100 lawmakers having committed to donating the money. President Duterte joined the fray by rounding off the reward money to 50 million pesos. It is glaring here since putting that much reward money seems to sideline the capability of the police at solving the case with immediacy to zero in on the murderer or murderers and apprehending them and bringing them to face justice they deserve. It just made an imprint on many that if the murdered person was just an ordinary citizen, these honorable members of the House of Representatives or the President would have not joined hands in putting up that reward money. We are not privy if the promise of or the prospect of the reward money did help in identifying the suspects for the early solution of the crime, but it did assure the bereaved family some quarters are concerned. But did it help the Philippine National Police? Just after the crime, the first reaction of the PNP hierarchy was to effect a reshuffle. PNP Regional Director for Bicol Police Chief Superintendent Arnel Escobar ordered relieved from his post Albay Province Top Cop Police Senior Superintendent Milo Belia Pagtalunan on Sunday, December 23rd and effective on the same day. Albay Police Deputy Director for Administration Police Superintendent Denia Raduta Rillata took over as designated officer in charge. Pagtalunan was reassigned to the Regional Holding and Accounting Unit of PNP Bicol Regional Office. Quite a coincidence, the police rigodon or shake-up came just days after the PNP leadership sacked the police chief of Daraga town where Batocabe was murdered. So here's the ending, which perhaps signals the start of the wheel of justice for the widows of Batocabe and the policeman. Daraga Mayor Carlwin Awin Baldo has been tagged by the Philippine National Police as the mastermind in the killing of Ako Bicol Representative Batocabe and his police officer bodyguard.
Major breakthrough in the investigation of the murder of Ako Bicol Party-list Representative Rodel Batocabe and his security escort SPO2 Orlando Diaz in Barangay Burgos, Daraga, Albay on December 22, 2018. The names of 7 persons of interest, all employed as confidential staff of the Office of the Municipal Mayor of Daraga, Albay, have surfaced in the investigation jointly conducted by the PNP Intelligence Group and the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group. Among the 7, Christopher Cabrera Naval, alias Tuping, identified as a trusted security aide of Daraga Mayor Carlwin Baldo, was forced to surrender to the PNP IG last December 30, 2018 due to the relentless police operations jointly conducted by combined elements of PRO5 SITG Batocabe, CIDG, and PNP IG. Tuping provided investigators with relevant information surrounding the assassination of Batocabe. Accordingly, the plan to assassinate Batocabe was hatched sometime in August 2018 when Batocabe announced in public his bid for the mayoral post of Daraga. This was corroborated by Emmanuel Bonita Judavar, who was involved in the initial planning but allegedly backed out during the actual assassination. Judavar earlier came forward and gave his knowledge to the police about the killing of Congressman Batocabe. Later, according to Tuping, Mayor Baldo allegedly offered 5 million for the hit job on Batocabe sometime in September 2018 and paid an initial amount of 250,000 pesos to Tuping and his group for the purchase of guns and motorcycles. Tuping's team is composed mostly of former military, paramilitary personnel, and NPA rebels who are presently employed under fictitious names as confidential staff of the Office of the Mayor and each receiving a monthly compensation of 7,000 pesos. Tuping himself was a discharged army serviceman who once served with the Military Intelligence Battalion of the 9th Infantry Division stationed in Bikol region. Based on Tuping's revelation, he purchased 2 SIM motorcycles in Camalig, Albay using the assumed name Abelardo Castillo, while another member of the team, Danilo Muela alias Manoy Dan, acquired 2 homemade caliber .45 pistols. Muela is reportedly a former technical sergeant in the 97th Military Intelligence Company of the 9th Infantry Division. According to Tuping and Hudabar, the first attempt on Batocabe was during the congressman's routine engagement at radio station DCJB and Hotel Venecia in Legazpi City, a pattern that was observed by the group in its casing and surveillance on Batocabe. Based on extrajudicial confession of Tuping, revelations made by Judavar and intelligence research conducted by the IG and CIDG, the other members of Tuping's team and their individual participation in the murder are as follows. Henry Yuson, alias Romel or Eno, a former NPA rebel who was arrested by Miko MIB of 9th IB and who later became a CAFGU member. He was tagged as the main gunman who shot Batocabe allegedly with the caliber .45 pistol. Number 2, Rolando Arimado, a rebel returnee, a former NPA rebel who served as lookout and backup gunman. It was reported that he likewise pulled the trigger to kill Congressman Batocabe and SPO1 Diaz on that fateful day. Emmanuel Roselio, alias Boboy, a former CAFGU member who drove the other getaway motorcycle. He was arrested earlier this morning by police operatives in Daraga, Albay. The getaway motorcycle was likewise seized from his possession. Jwin Babor, alias G, also an ex-army man who was designated as driver of the getaway motorcycle. From all indications as revealed by the suspects and witnesses, and physical evidence gathered by the police, the group that killed Batocabe and Diaz is a private armed group employed by the mayor that is involved in contract killing as a gun-for-hire syndicate. Cases of double murder and 6 counts of multiple frustrated murder were filed before the Provincial Prosecutor's Office of Albay against the mastermind Mayor Baldo and 6 others. Immediately effective today, I have ordered the revocation of firearms licenses and PTC-4 of Mayor Baldo and has recommended the removal of his deputation over the local police in Daraga, Albay.
In a press conference Thursday, PNP Chief Director General Oscar Albayalde said charges of double murder and multiple frustrated murder have already been filed against the incumbent Daraga Mayor Baldo and the other 6 suspects at the Department of Justice. Albayalde alleged that Baldo paid former rebels and army officials to assassinate Batocabe, who was running against Baldo for the mayoralty post. A sum of 5 million was given in exchange for said murder job. the police chief bared even as Baldo has yet to issue a statement on the charge. Batocabe's eldest son, attorney Justine, earlier said that their family could forgive the suspects but not the mastermind. He refused to mention the name of the person behind the murder and said their family will just leave it to the authorities. The confessed gunman apologized to the family of the congressman in a press conference at the Capitol complex. Henry Yuson alias Romel said he regrets what he did and only killed the congressman because he was offered money in exchange for the job. Yuson, a rebel returnee, was later assimilated as member of the Citizen Armed Force Geographical Unit CAFGO and eventually hired as part of the security group of the mayor, surrendered Thursday night at the 903rd Infantry Battalion in Sorsogon. He was also served a warrant of arrest for the crime of rape. Yuson told the media that despite the promise of payment, he never received even a single centavo. He claimed he never get the money from his cohorts, referring to Christopher Cabrera Naval alias Tuping and Danilo Muelia alias Manoy Dan. It was Tuping, a former member of the Philippine Army, and Manoy Dan who have been discussing the plan with Mayor Baldo to assassinate Batocabe, Yuson said. Mayor Baldo wanted to stay as the local chief executive, so they hatched a plan to eliminate Batocabe, who was the political rival of Baldo, Yuson added. Yuson further narrated that he was assured that as long as Baldo remained the town mayor, their group will have a steady source of income. Meanwhile, PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde said Yuson and the members of the mayor's personal staff have been receiving 7,000 pesos a month and using fictitious names to hide their identity. Albayalde said they now have 4 out of 7 suspects in their custody in connection with the Batocabe slay. The case, he reiterated, is now solved but not closed, as they are still continuing the investigation. We will not rest until the suspects rot in jail for the rest of their lives, Albayalde stressed. This murder case is still developing, so stay tuned. If you like this video and content, consider subscribing to Red Monkey Talks and hit the notification bell for update notifications. Thanks for watching and see you soon.